Pod in the City is a Sex in the City podcast and thus contains adult themes and explicit content. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Pod in the City. I'm Amanda.
And I'm John.
We're two besties who bonded over Sex in the City in college.
And now, 20 years later, we're reliving it like it's our very first time. Season 3, Episode 2, Politically Erect. Can there be sex without politics? Hot on the campaign trail, Carrie's political consciousness is raised as her new companion, Bill Kelly, lobbies for her affection. However, differences in their sexual code of ethics cause some friction when Bill reveals a fantasy of his. Meanwhile, Charlotte, who plans to get married by the end of the year, puts her words into action and hosts a used boyfriend party.
Oh, wow. That's like the longest description in history.
I was shook when I saw that Google had given me that description today. You know, if you guys didn't know, that is my greatest research tool. But I am in the midst of, I'm not boycotting Google yet because Google has YouTube on it. But I did recently quit Amazon Prime, and so did Amanda, and I suggest you do as well.
Do it.
What I will say, though, is if at the beginning of this year, I did notice a couple people did have to quit our Patreon, which I understand because I'm sure I'm going to chalk it up to that your New Year's resolution was I have to quit subscriptions that I just don't have time to get to. So I'm going to chalk it up that you just don't have time to listen to our Patreon episodes. But if you do have time to listen to our Patreon episodes, please come check them out because they're so fun. We do Golden Girls. We do a sexy little pillow talk episode. And this week, we're starting Smash, baby.
Smash. Let me be your star.
Which Amanda has now reminded me that I guess I was living in Delulu land, which I tend to do. And I was remembering the first episode of Smash as just being like amazing,
right,
like
when you
stellar.
think of the first episode of Smash, you're remembering how amazing that last 5 minutes is where they're singing Let Me Be Your Star. But then there's a whole 38 minutes leading up to that everyone kind of forgets. It doesn't live in our head as rent-free as that last part.
Well, what I'll say is a little bit of housekeeping here. Subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. Hit like, please. It really helps us out. And if you could leave us a comment, that would be amazing. Also, if you feel like, and you're listening to us on one of the podcast places and you feel like giving us a good review, please do. If you feel like giving us a bad review, just turn us off. Thank you and good night. I do know that we can be annoying. Trust me, I listen back to this sometimes and I'm like, jeez, how can people listen to that? But I get it. I did move my mic a few inches farther away from my mouth today because I realized that I have a tendency to pop my shit. So, I hope I'm not popping some peas out there for y'all. You know what's crazy? I'm going to just do a little sidetrack here. I listened to another podcast this week for 10 minutes because I was like, I can't believe this is a podcast. And the way they talked.
Was it me and Joan's podcast?
No. I'm like, this one podcast that I ran into, I'm not going to say the name, but it was these two girls. I was like, Jesus, this is boring as fuck. They think they're really funny. Anyway, no. But the way that most people talk on podcasts is I don't think I've ever talked they talk like this, right? I've never once. Can you guys imagine if we were like, hi guys, welcome to Pod in the City. I'm John and this is Amanda. What if I talked like that?
Sometimes I'll if I'm ever going to listen to for timestamps or something, there'll be episodes where I remember that day that I was really low energy and you can completely hear it in my voice. I sound completely checked out, but I actually just sound kind of normal. I sound like a normal functioning person in society.
See, I'm also, when I go out in public with people, I am very quiet because I don't want to draw. I don't talk like this when I'm at a restaurant. So then I will talk like really quiet, and I get all like, I don't like when the other people I'm with are like really loud. Anyway, guys, whatever. This is a Sex in the City podcast, and that's what you're here for.
And this is the episode where with the piss.
Yes. It is. That is pretty much what you guys will remember it as. And my big question
happens, though, it's good. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in here.
I just want to understand though. Why are we being led to believe that like Carrie's barely just met this man and now she's following him like a dog on the campaign trail into classrooms, into
Also, I don't remember growing up having any potential city comptrollers coming in to speak to my class.
You know, I think we did have stuff like that. Like the firefighters would come in, stuff like that. But I can't imagine. Oh, honey, that imprinted on me. You know what? Amanda and I were talking about our type. Envision a like 6'4" beefy fireman with like dark hair and like strong, like could like carry someone out of a building. That would be what I'm like looking for. But I would anyway. Yeah, no. So do you think would you like follow around this man like this on the campaign?
Do you think I would? No.
Amanda would be like, you handle that. What if the guy you were with even
your thing?
Okay, what if the guy, let's tie this into and just like that. What if like you're with a man and he's like, I'm going to run for city comptroller. I need you to support me in this and, be my like first lady. And
my first question would be like,
what would you do?
Do I need to go to stuff? Like, because I would need to immediately start mentally preparing for. But do I? How much I need to? Does the city comptroller's wife need to be like present? Well, like, do you need to know her backstory?
Based on and just like that, and the resolution of this episode.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I guess it does matter who you're. Now, the resolution of this episode is like, I won't spoil it yet, guys. You gotta keep listening. But I will say I was like, well, duh. Like, duh. Right?
What?
The resolution to the episode. What happens?
I don't know what resolution you're talking about. That she.
What happens with Carrie and what's his?
Oh, that he like gets mad. And
okay, we'll wait. We'll wait.
Well,
guys,
maybe we have different opinions about how this pans out. All right, well, let's start this right now. By the way, no news and gossip this week because once again, they have not announced the fucking drop date for Just Like That. Even though we're a week into January now.
We're in a rough spot though, because television and stuff, all of it has been really, we're in a dry spell. It's that time between Christmas. It was Christmas, New Year's, the best day of the year, January 8th, my birthday. And
January 6th, 2 days before, even better day of the year.
Amanda,
we're gonna take back this country.
You're Canadian.
I know, but I lived there longer than I've lived here.
Oh my God. Guys, we're already off the rails. Anyway,
that's it. There's no news and gossip, so let's get into this because I got some buffalo chicken dip waiting for me, bitch. Carrie, so she's dating John Slattery, who, as we learned last episode, 38 years old. Gross.
I hope, I'm praying that we messed up the math on that because,
no, I did it in my head, but you did it. You were along with me for the ride while I did it in my head. And I said that would make him 38. And you were like, yeah, and that's fucking crazy. I think it's the gray hair that throws us off, I guess.
Yeah, but it's also I don't know. It's it's the hair, but it's the texture of the hair with the texture grayness.
Too. Yeah, and I think he just has an old timey. He fits perfectly in Mad Men. That kind of old-timey,
a sexy man.
Oh, for sure. And he's funny, too. I would be in love with him.
I struggle to believe, though, that later he's like, yeah, I don't have to worry about Chelsea. Have you seen my ass? are we believing that
Oh,
John
yeah, sure,
Slattery
yeah.
has like a banging ass? Like
No,
he
he's
has
just,
like a
like, tall and thin.
BBL?
I think it's crazy. How long have they been dating here? 2 months, right? They say? She says? 3 weeks.
Did
3
she?
weeks!
I was gonna say
3
like,
weeks, he's asking her to piss on him after 3 weeks. That is crazy. Because how many times are
oh,
you going out in 3 weeks? 8
I
times?
I was gonna
10
say I'm
times?
surprised it took 3 weeks. So
Are you
okay, so
serious?
we're gonna the two of us are gonna have opposing views here.
I guess.
I'm not shocked at the peeing the
Okay.
3 weeks before knowing that the person asked to pee. I'm more shocked that within 3 weeks you would be like, hey, why don't you come out to a classroom with me? You're a sex
Oh,
columnist.
yeah.
Come out to the classroom with me while I go do a thing. Come stand on the side of the stage so I can make out with you the moment I walk off stage. Like,
Yeah, like, I guess
that surprises me more than the peeing. I think Carrie acted. I don't know I don't know. We'll get to it. Yeah,
we
I
will
mean,
get to it.
burying the lead.
By the way, this is the season, but especially this episode is the one where Carrie's wearing flowers on her
Mhm.
outfits and every outfit. And I mean, I love it. It's funny and it's also like cute.
It is. She looks great. I thought she
She
looked really
does.
good in almost everything. I hate the blue suit that she wears though. When
With the stripe?
she has the stripe, I
Yeah.
I I like the
You hate
outfit.
that? I
No,
love it.
I like the outfit. I don't like the
Yeah.
way it fits her,
Oh, I love
I
it. She
think.
looks so tiny because it's a little big on her.
That's what I don't like is like I'm fine with an oversized thing, but it looks more like she like went into her grandma's closet to pull this out
Oh,
because
I
she's
think it
going
looks
to a political
amazing.
event.
Well, anyway, yeah, he's at a classroom giving a speech. He's like, "Who knows what a city comptroller does?" And all the kids are like, "Me." And he's like, "You do?" I thought that was
I was
funny.
gonna say, honey,
Anyway,
we didn't even know what a city. We still don't really know what a
I think
city
we actually looked it
comptroller
up on
is.
air and it was immediately out of my head.
It's
Um,
like something where they like make choices for something, right?
I guess.
Guys, let
Um,
us know in the comments. What do you know about city comptrollers?
my gummy just kicked in, so let's see how the
Oh,
rest of this
perfect.
goes. His campaign manager is there's like a bit where the campaign manager who looks like he should be like Clark Kent or something, right? His face looks like a Clark Kent type.
He definitely he looks like what they would portray a gay as in 2000.
Okay. Well, anyway,
Very
he's like trying to get
angular.
Carrie pins. And then meanwhile, Steve and Miranda don't know if they should be official yet. Ugh. Even though last episode it was already kind of closed out that she like saw Steve differently.
Yeah, but now
And
she needs to spend the whole episode being like, you
being a
know,
bitch, by the
I got to
way.
make a pros and cons list about this piece of shit. Like pros, I mean like he wants you, Miranda, girl,
Yeah,
but
he wants to
this
date
show
you.
through now present time, we have never seen Miranda struggle to get a date once.
Never. Everyone wants to fuck
That's
her.
actually what I would like to see on the show. I would love to see one of them be in a spot where like no one wants them. That's literally never. Maybe they don't want to portray like something like that because they think that's ultimately like the saddest thing
But
ever.
now Miranda's a lesbian and I think maybe now she's a hot commodity. They can smell that fresh.
I don't believe that though. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You meet bumbling Miranda one time and you're like,
That's more what
ooh,
it is her
baby.
personality is she's so dumb.
I'm not saying anything about this is not a reference to her looks at all. That's not what I'm saying. My thing is her whole situation would lend itself to struggling to find someone who wants her because she has a
Yeah.
hard
I wouldn't even
personality.
really wanna
She
be
is
friends with her. She'd be, like, embarrassing to be out in public with, and I'd
well
be kinda icked out.
now
I'd
it
be
and
like
just like that.
and also, like, I don't know if I'd ever get over, like, the fact that I watched Che Diaz finger bang
Oh
her in
God.
my kitchen,
See,
and she was like
no,
it was like she'd never had an orgasm before.
Here would be my place in the friendship. I would love Miranda, and I would love Charlotte, and I'd love Samantha, and I'd hate Carrie, and I would talk shit about Carrie behind her back to the other girls because I'd be like, God, Carrie just always thinks she's so cool. She just always she
Yeah.
ditches us. She doesn't give a shit about us. It's always Carrie. It's
She
all
make
about
really
Carrie.
snotty comments, just like
She was
offhanded.
even annoying in this episode.
She
I
said
was like,
something cunty about
girl.
like Miranda, you are judgmental, which actually that was funny. But anyway,
Or
okay.
when she goes to the party and Charlotte's like, "You're sabotaging my whole party." And she's like, "Oh."
Oh yeah, that was a little cunty. I'm like, don't touch me. Okay, so the four girls are out at lunch and they're discussing. This is actually a very well written scene, but they're discussing politicians. And I wrote, Carrie looks
But
so
like
cute in her striped
old-timey
shirt, blue
president.
blazer. What?
Was this then? Was she wearing that
Well,
now
that's what's
in
my
that scene?
next in my notes, so I guess she's wearing it.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
just well,
okay.
Steve and Miranda don't know if they should be official. I said that.
Yeah.
Then now we're out at lunch and they're discussing
Mhm.
politicians, and Samantha's like, I always vote for candidates according to their looks. And then
Which actually that makes that kind of there's a logical point to what she's
I think a
saying
lot of people
because
probably do. I mean,
well, her ultimate point, allegedly, or the point made there is that the people who are more like less attractive can't get laid, and so they're more like vindictive and upset, which
yeah,
makes sense because that is what happens. It's like usually people who are like the most upset and like hateful, which
yeah.
I'm not saying us,
They're
like
just
we're hateful in a
lonely. They
different
they
way.
need a hug.
Like people who like go and like, beat people up, like go to or do, do crazy things like men.
Yeah.
I shouldn't even say people. I'm talking about men. Anyway,
Some
yes.
who's saying somebody keeps saying Charlotte, was it Charlotte keeps trying to interject in the conversation. I had a college crush on Dan Quayle. Is that Charlotte that keeps saying that? And then
Yes.
Carrie goes, "We heard you the first time and we're ignoring it." Again, super bitchy thing.
I would be like, well, fuck you then,
Well,
bitch.
I
I
guess
mean,
I'll
they're
just
talking.
shut my big fat mouth for the rest of this meal.
Carrie's point here is that so Charlotte's point is stupid according to Carrie, but Carrie's point is I think that what is most important about a president is their hat. Good hat, good president. FDR, good hat, good president. I'm like, bitch, what do you know about like what? Like
They
maybe
discuss
any like
who's the hottest politician, and then they say JFK. So fine,
and then they
that's
say the forefathers weren't that hot except Thomas Jefferson probably could fuck or something like that. I'm like,
yeah. And then it's like, look at us, four girls talking politics. Da, 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 da,
I
da.
won't
Miranda's
know. So no, I want to chat here a second.
all right.
Do you think that from like a feminist angle that people would look at that now and be like, well, that doesn't really help the case because they're saying, haha, this is us talking about politics, but pretty much the whole thing is which one's hot, which one's fuckable, what, outward traits, nothing about like, well, this person was this, did this and blah, blah, blah. You just don't
What
care.
are you asking me? I mean, I get the joke. Thank you for explaining it.
I'm like asking, like, from trying to be like philosophical here, like from the
Do I think
modern
it's
angle,
anti-feminist? No, I think it's still
kinda.
I think it still kind of falls into being cheeky. By the way, do
Okay.
you like that?
I don't even know what that is.
It's a pillow that I added to the
Oh,
background.
I can't see what it is. Oh dear. Actually, if he looked
Do you
like
like it?
that,
This
I
is your
actually think
type.
that's cute.
This is your type. And he has got cat. I'm holding up for anyone who's
If
not
he
watching on
looked
YouTube.
like that, but he doesn't
He
look like that.
does.
No, he
This
doesn't
is a
look like
dream
that.
Mickey
That is like
pillow.
a like dramatization.
Well, there's a whole lore behind this. There's an app on your phone called Dream Daddy. And it's
Oh,
like
yeah,
a
I know
gay
what you're
dad that
talking
comes
about.
out late in life,
Yeah.
and then they did an episode where Nick played it as Mitch, and then they
Oh,
made
dear.
merchandise. So then Jody and Justine bought this pillow for me after I broke my ankle so that I could, like, sleep with, like, a pillow. And then
Oh, that's
I
nice.
used it the other day during a sleepover episode me and Jody did for our pod, and then I was like, "You know what? Mitch deserves to always be seen." Right there.
Cute.
Well, anyway.
Great. Guys, we're back.
Thank you for
If you didn't, like, quit,
sitting and watching
how
that.
many people just dropped out right
How
then?
many
They're
people
like,
did we
"God,
gain? I think we gained a lot of dough girls, maybe out there.
is that a
Miranda
thing?"
talk. I'm a dough girl. Miranda talks to Carrie about Steve.
Mhm.
And now Carrie hits up a payphone for some reason, and she says it's time to make a list. Things you like about Steve, things you don't like about Steve. And then Miranda's like, "That's so judgmental." And Carrie's like, "Miranda, you are judgmental." Then Carrie goes home and types, and her question is, "Can there be sakes without politics?" And I don't think there. I don't think you can. I feel like
I
there needs to
as
be a little politics. There needs to be some game playing all the time, I think.
Oh, in that way. See, I'm more thinking than the angle of, like, there's a lot of people now who are like, "Oh, my boyfriend's a conservative, and I just, whatever." Like, I could never exist nowadays, like, where people like, how can you be in a relationship with someone with, like, opposing political views?
I kind of agree with that, but I feel like hopefully
How?
we can go back. Well, because in like the for most of our lives, it was like, okay.
I would agree, but there have been some very polarizing things happening in the last while
Yeah.
where, like, it's kind of hard to be like, "Oh, you're fine with that," but you also don't want the anyway. Yes. So
No, I
there
hear you.
obviously is politics in a
I think
relationship.
currently it
And so,
maybe means a little more, but back in or this is still pre 9/11, right? Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's okay if somebody's a Democrat and somebody's a Republican. You can still have amazing sakes. Anyway,
Mm,
and successful relationships, I guess.
yeah,
Samantha
maybe.
now, okay, this part I guffawed when I saw this. I was like, I totally forgot about this storyline. And like it's played so well. That Samantha meets this guy at the bar who do you find this guy attractive?
I
His name is
kept, like,
Jeff.
waffling back and forth. Um,
Okay, yeah.
I don't
He's
know.
funny. He's like seems to have a good personality, so that's attractive.
I think what
I guess
happened,
he's not
like,
ugly.
I think in that moment, I mean, you would be able to tell that he is shorter.
For sure. Now, do you think this guy
Like,
actually is that short? I feel like they were doing a little camera
I
play
think they
there.
had to have because of what happens later, like when they actually fuck.
Yeah.
He's like more than a foot shorter than her.
Right, right.
Like, he's
You
like
know who he
up
kinda
to
looks like?
here.
He kinda looks like a Bronson Pinchot.
He kind of does. Like
There you go, I got that right.
a straighter version of that face.
For sure. Well, anyway,
If
Samantha
that
meets,
makes sense.
and he's like, um, he goes, "Do you like?" He's talking about skiing, and he's like, "Do you like to ski?" And Samantha goes, I love it." And I'm like, "You do?"
That was like a very like bougie people thing. Like,
I guess, but like, it's like her
rich
loving
people
jazz.
like tennis and
Oh yeah,
skiing.
I
She
guess. But
likes
like
to go to
Charlotte
Aspen,
actually
I'm
would see
sure.
her play tennis several times. Samantha apparently loves
Mhm.
skiing though. But anyway, Samantha now so he
She
stands up and walks
loves
away and he's very
skiing.
short. And then we have a smash cut to Samantha going, "What do you guys think the difference is between a short person and a little person?" And they're like, "Oh, I don't know if like we're supposed to be talking about this." And then she guesses he's like 5'3", I think. Anyway, they're at Bill's event at someone's apartment.
They make him look much shorter than 5'3". Make him look about like 4'8". Literally. Because
Yeah.
unless Samantha's 6.5 feet tall, I mean, the guy looks
She said he looks like he's at nipple.
he barely comes over the like height of the bar. Like the bar is like here up to his shoulder.
I wonder, so do you think this actor is actually that short?
I feel like they had to have done others. Like there has to have been. No, I don't know. Who knows?
He's
Maybe
standing on a
because when
box.
he got naked later, I mean, they don't show anything, but he did proportionally have like what would appear as a smaller body. Does it make
Right.
sense?
Yeah.
Like he didn't
Okay.
have long. He didn't have really long arms or anything,
Okay. Well, they're at this,
which would be a
Miranda
tell.
Miranda had brought Steve to this event, this Bill Kelly event, and
Hmm.
Steve makes some like passing comment, like, "Oh, maybe you can take care of some packing tickets for me there, huh?" And Miranda's like mortified.
She's like, "See, con, one for the cons list."
Yeah, it's like what? That he's like personable at parties is better than him being like super
That would
awkward and
like
shit.
I would love that. That's like Steve's personality is like the type of personality I
Yes, because
like.
he's like comfortable in the room and he'll talk to
Like
anyone.
that's like a magnetic personality. Like people want to be like want to talk to him,
Yeah,
even if
I could
he's
never
like
be
kind
like
of
that.
embarrassing sometimes or lower class
Can
than
you
you.
imagine,
Like
like, going to a party and, like, you're gaining energy from meeting new people? Like, you're, like, excited about it, like, about
I will
approaching new people?
say I'm like an introvert, extrovert, introvert mashup situation because if I go to a place where I feel comfortable with the
Oh,
people,
agreed. I'm
oh, I will
I'm
like I
legitimately
feel
saying a new like, you wanna meet
oh, if
new
I came to
people.
this like this political isn't it it's a political if I went to a
It's
political
not a
event with someone, I would be only talking to them
and if they left me even to
and
go to the
in the
bathroom,
corner.
"Where were you? Don't
No, we
ever leave
would
me
go to the
alone again."
bathroom together, and
Yeah,
we'd
I
stand
will
in the
wait
corner,
outside.
and I would be like, "Do you see that?" Like, literally, that's how I am at things like that, where I don't know anyone. I'll be like,
Alright,
"Yeah, like, do you
bro.
see how it's like, what's the decorations here? Like, what's the food situation?"
The
You know,
food, we
that
would
whole
just
thing.
get stoned and, like, hang
I'd
out
just
with
be
our
eating
food.
yeah, if the food's
You know, by the
good.
way, since you brought up that, like, cake thing that I had forgotten about, now I remember it so viscerally, where we had that cake and we were
The
like,
ice
"That
cream
cake."
cake,
Yes, like,
it was
I
like a
remember it all the time now. It's like you completely, like, unlocked that memory for me.
I get situations like that too, where I feel like I've forgotten everything, and then someone will like remind me of one thing, and I'm like, oh my
I
god,
like
yeah, I
like,
did
then I can,
that.
like,
Wait, what?
smell it. Like, I can, like, see the
Yeah,
cake. I can, like, see, like, looking down at the cake, like, and then the living room's out there, like, I remember it.
in the kitchen.
Yeah, in the kitchen, and I'm sure, and
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
remember everyone probably getting annoyed with us for, like, the whole 2 weeks that we wouldn't shut the fuck up about it.
Well,
Okay. No, too bad, it
their
was a good cake.
loss.
Stanford's there, and he asks Carrie to introduce him to the campaign manager, and,
Hmm.
Charlotte okay, so then Carrie goes over, and she's like, "What am I, your political or your gay, pimp?" Or something like that. Stanford's standing there, and
They're
Carrie goes over
like,
and she's like, "Hey,
yeah.
there's someone here who wants to meet you. It's a guy." And he's like, "Okay, keep talking." And she's like, "It's the
Now,
guy like back what?
Stanford is standing. There also just happens to be next to Stanford, like this
A
gorgeous
guy who would never be at this
tan.
party." Like,
No,
he's like,
he looks like an escort. I'll be honest. Like he looks
oh,
like a
I was
rent
gonna say he
boy.
looks
Like
like a personal trainer, but yes, escort
no,
actually is
like
more accurate.
someone had purchased him for the night. Like he
Because
was
he's wearing
dressed
a
in a skin
t-shirt.
tight t-shirt, full muscles, hard nips, blonde dyed hair, tanned to the gods. Like,
Yeah.
and he's like standing there, like,
And he said, and then Stanford's there like drinking. It's like right next to him. So he's like, the campaign manager is like, "Oh, that hottie over there with the great arms?" And then Carrie's like,
he's like the blonde hair
"No."
and the big arms, and she's
Yeah, she's
like,
like, "No, it's
she
the
looks
bald
back,
guy with the great personality," or something like that.
the
It's like,
great
oh
sense of
god,
humor,
great sense of humor.
which I was like, that honestly, that was sweet in a way, and the way that it like worked itself out. But
She
why?
should have said the guy with the big dick. It's like
Why?
that
What was the
bald guy with the
point of
big dick.
this? Are we
I
just
don't know.
trying
It
to
could be.
establish to make Stanford feel ugly? Like, are we
I think
establishing
that
that
this whole thing was for us,
bald
the
gays are
audience.
to be like hideous?
I think the audience was supposed to be shocked by the idea that the campaign manager is a gay.
Oh, you think?
Like, I think we were supposed to be like,
I think it was
oh.
just playing into that typical stereotype bullshit. But then oh, spoiler alert, guys. Hey, spoiler alert. If you have not watched Sex in the City, um Stanford ends up with Marcus. So
Oh yeah, I do like that storyline actually.
yeah, and they literally never talk. Why didn't they not bring Marcus back in and just like that?
And then he gets with Anthony.
No. Him and Stanford had continued to have a relationship, and that's why Stanford moved away, was to be with Marcus. And then Stanford
Oh, I like
dies, and
that.
then Marcus, something like that.
And then Stanford dies. Okay, so we're still killing him.
I think
Okay,
I think they should kill him off and like be done with that. I think it's okay when someone gets older on a show to let their character die instead of be like, they're off being a Tibetan monk with no cell
well,
phone
that's like
service,
the
and they've
dumbest thing
sold
they
off
could have
all
done.
of their items. Like, really? Okay.
All right,
Okay,
what's
sorry. Yes.
next? Oh, so
The
Charlotte,
party.
Carrie, sorry, Elizabeth
Fine.
Banks is there now.
Yeah, Elizabeth Banks had a cameo that didn't
Well, I don't think it's
amount to
considered a
anything.
cameo because she wasn't famous yet, so it was just a acting job that
Well,
she
it
got.
is on a list of the top 10 cameos in
Oh,
Sex and the City.
okay,
I'm
babe.
like,
Because I had to look up if
what?
that was even her. It's not like it was this. It's not
That's
like it
what
was Kristen Johnson falling out the window and Splatter.
exactly.
This was just
It
she happened
was.
to be in this episode.
And I also thought she seemed like, by my approximation, she's too young, but maybe I'm delusional.
I don't know.
I thought
She
she
looks
was
a lot like
younger.
what's her Chelsea Handler. They get mistaken for each other all the time.
Oh.
Well,
Oh.
anyway, Charlotte gets this idea from Elizabeth Banks about hosting a party where people bring people that they're not interested in anymore, which is really fucked up.
It is, unless
Also,
you
are you supposed to be
established
open?
like
Like maybe you're supposed to like bring. Maybe everyone's supposed to be in on it. Is the
that's
only
what you
way
would
it seems like.
need to do, except that,
Yeah, but
guys,
none of the girls do
spoiler,
that.
it doesn't work out like that, because it seems like
It's way
almost
meaner.
everyone who ends up going there, either, they get back together, or
Yeah.
they end up like hating each other, or one person's lying, or they don't realize it. Yeah, the rules aren't really established. Now, if you did a thing where you're like, hey, bring any single friends you have, like bring a single guy that you have, well, maybe the premise, actually, say bringing a single guy you're not interested in, that's not bad.
I guess, but these people are just
And
bringing.
Carrie has, what doesn't make sense here? We are led to believe, especially season 1 and season 2, that Carrie has infinite straight male
That's
friends that she
right, and
does
she
not
couldn't find
fuck.
anyone to bring here?
She could only bring Stanford. And then when questioned about it, she goes, oh.
Yeah, that's right. Well, anyway, it's mean because all the people
Mhm.
that they bring to this party think that they're just going on a date with the women. But anyway, in bed later, so this is where we have Bill and Carrie in bed, and he says, is there anything I'm not doing that's pleasing you? And she's like, no, I'm like so happy. He's like, well, here's something I'd like. I'd like to get you in the shower and get all cleaned up and lathered up. And she's like, that sounds nice. He's like, and then I want you to pee on me.
Yum.
And this was pretty shocking for, 1999.
It was, for sure. I mean, like, okay, guys, if you want to hear a similar story, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/pod in the city. Can't remember which episode it is,
Yeah, you'll have to, but
but go
all,
back into
all of
the
them are gems.
archives.
You'll learn
Go back.
something interesting in each of those episodes.
Yeah.
The girls are all out together now. Carrie's hair looks so good. Carrie, this is one of my favorite Carrie looks. She's wearing like a white suit and there's like a red rose flower and her hair is in this huge tall bun. Can you see it? It's like a little white suit with maybe little tiny specks on it and then like a little red rose right here. And her hair, and I
Okay.
think she's got pearls on. And then her hair is just like in a tall thick bun.
Okay, yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, anyway, I don't believe that you actually remember, but anyway, it's a
I've
really
put the
good.
pieces together in my mind.
Okay. Well, Carrie's now out with Bill eating Indian food, and she doesn't want to drink anything because she's scared to pee. But this is dumb because it's like you can still drink at the restaurant and then like pee at the restaurant. He's not gonna force you to pee on him while you're still there.
Well, so far, she believes that the only reason she's gotten away with not peeing on him yet is because she has said, I don't have to pee right now. That's the way she's gotten out of it so far.
That's how
So I
she's
think
gonna handle this going
she's trying to
forward.
hold tight to like, I never have to pee. I just oopsie.
Yeah, see how long it and then he'll just kind of get over it on his own, right?
I just think that this is kind of a thing where like,
well, so how do they end that conversation? She just says, I don't have to go right now, but maybe later. And then he's like, all right. Also, this is what I think is kind of fucked up about this is now they're out eating Indian food. I feel like he's kind of he's acting oblivious because it's like, no, there's this huge elephant in the room now, and you're just acting like you didn't ask me to piss on you.
Well, they never really
I would be like,
showed
I feel like we need to
follow-up
address
convo.
that.
But they never showed them talking. Like when the person tells you that immediately, would you just be like, okay, good night? No, you would have had a conversation right then, wouldn't you?
I'd be annoyed
if you were laying in bed.
Yeah.
If you were laying in bed and he was like, I just want you to pee on me, you'd say, oh, good night. You wouldn't talk about it then? They didn't talk about it then.
I would say no. I don't want to do that.
And he's like,
and then that conversation would be over.
But
sweetie, what's not gonna happen, I guess. Get out. That's not me. All right. Charlotte. Wait, yes, great. Charlotte has
I think with the peeing thing, the hard thing is because you have to look at it like if that's a person that you're gonna like, like on your wedding day or whatever. This person forever as the person who wants you to piss on them. But people have sex. Like, what if the person's like, okay,
I think you need to find someone who likes that too. I don't have any judgment. I don't want to do that. So like that would be like a kind of a deal breaker for me. I'd be like, well, obviously that's the kind of sexual relationship you want. I don't want that. So this probably won't work out. But what if
a person was like, I want you to like squirt all over me?
Well, I don't think I really have a lot of control over that though. You can't do that on command, babe.
Yeah, but what if that was their thing? Would that be a deal breaker too, or is it just because it's pee?
I think it's that I don't want that kind of sex. I don't want that like crazy.
What if that was it?
Totally.
What if literally what if they were just like totally fine with all vanilla sex? They were fine only seeing you a couple times.
I didn't say vanilla sex.
Well, whatever. Amanda sex. What if they're fine with just Amanda sex? They're fine on all of it. The only thing is, every once in a while, they're like, you're in the shower and they're like, hey babe, let me get in there and piss.
Okay, so then yes.
Would
okay,
you
fine.
Be fine.
Yes, I totally would, but
But that was like, it.
I would be like, you need to be okay then with me not being like into it in probably the way, like I wouldn't be able to come out of my own body and be like, yeah, take that pee. I'd be like, here we go. Like it would be me doing it.
And
so there's times that I do it.
I think if you were doing it with him and he was fine with you not being like, oh yeah, let me piss all over you. And me being
like, I'm peeing now.
But maybe you just not saying anything. Because if you said, I'm peeing now, I mean, like, that's an instant
I don't know if
killer.
I could do that without making a joke.
It would be like, he'd be like kissing you or something, and then he'd slowly go down, and he'd be like, do it or something, and you just go,
horrible. No, I don't want this. No, it's not going to work out. I'm sorry.
Damn it. I have a friend that I've been thinking about. I was going to like see if you would be interested.
But he won't.
He's really into that.
Yeah, right.
That's his deal breaker. All right.
Does he live in Arizona? Actually, that sounds
He actually lives in Canada.
Oh.
Lives in Calgary.
No. All right. Steve and Miranda. Is this it? No, sorry. Okay, we're at the used date.
The
site now.
end.
Carrie and Miranda are talking in the kitchen. Carrie's smoking. Another like amazing example of being a horrible friend.
The way that we're at Charlotte's party, yes?
Yes.
Sorry. The way Charlotte's kitchen is set up though, if I had this little smoking window bench situation, that's just so fabulous. It was fabulous. I mean, it's not cute to smoke that cigarette, but like just right there, like, and just have your little thing and do your thing there and be done.
It makes me even want to smoke, actually.
It's so cute.
I feel very
little
Parisian.
bench and everything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Hang on just one second. I need the buffalo dick. I need the buffalo chicken to.
You need the buffalo dick. Get that buffalo dick, grr.
Okay, here we go.
Guys, the buffalo dick's about to burn.
It like really tickled me. Get that buffalo dick, girl. They're at this party. Jeff finds out. Oh no, Charlotte talks to some guy. They're hitting it off, but then his ex-girlfriend who brought him is now jealous, and then they go fuck in the bedroom. Which is like that most likely is what would happen. Yeah, of course.
Yes, because because there are a lot of people that you just have to see your partner being wanted by someone else for you to be like,
yeah,
wait, oops.
And now you're like, they are the best person I've ever met in my life. I get it. I obviously get it. Jeff finds out about the party. So Samantha has brought Jeff, the short guy. Which can't she just ghost him though? They're not dating.
I think the whole thing is, if we're looking for logic, it ain't in this. It's not in that storyline. You wouldn't even
entertain this.
They are kind of dating, aren't they? Or did she only see him that one night and then she's like goodbye? Because later he's like, "You're trying to break up with me."
Not on a date yet. This was their first date.
Is it? Because he says, "You're trying to dump me. You took me here to dump me."
But they haven't gone out.
Would you have to? Would you dump someone before you on their? How do you? Don't you need to be dating someone to dump them?
Right. So what are we arguing about? We're on the same side of this. They're not dating.
I think they've gone out more. No, I think they have.
But then why haven't they had sex yet?
Because
I don't see Samantha going on a date with this guy if there's not sex at the end of it.
Samantha chooses sometimes to not have sex with people. Sometimes.
Right.
I feel like they've gone out at least
she's like
3 times
watching jazz. I love jazz.
I think like days where she's already got her pussy beat up. She's like, I can't take any more.
Well, Jeff finds out about the party, and this conversation was kind of hot for some reason. Where he's like, "Baby, I take you home. You're gonna think I'm a jolly green fucking giant." I was like, "Woohoo!" All right.
I mean, in that moment fully was like, "Oh yeah, he fucks." He fucked down. I'm sure. So
they do fuck, but then like,
but she says that it was like having sex with a Smurf or something, and I'm like,
yeah, which okay. He's not.
Girl, his dick is still inside. Just because his feet are like a foot, like they show the lineup and like her feet are here and his feet are like here while they're fucking. But like his dick is still inside you, isn't it? So or was his dick really small? I would assume if you say you can fuck like the Jolly Green Giant, you ain't going in there with a 4-inch dick. Like, it's just not happening.
I feel like that
you're bringing us something.
A lot. Don't you think that happens a lot?
From experience, unfortunately, I have had people that I've met up with that clearly were lying, and I'm like,
but like, I just don't understand the point of that because they're gonna find
someone's going to, the person is going to see your penis, and you expect me to just be like, okay, oh well.
That's why I don't ever.
No, I'm a bitch.
Photos with filters or anything because I'm like, what's the point of this? Because they're gonna see me in real life at some point.
Well, like, I mean, you do touch up your appearance on here, so.
I do. When I came on here, it was untouched up, and I was like, why do I look so busted?
Oh my God. I don't think so.
Then I changed my earrings. The earrings I was wearing before I put these on made me look fat. Mhm.
Got
They
it.
fuck. But then like then Carrie says like, oh wait, no, we haven't even gotten there yet. So Steve and Miranda are fucking now, and Steve
Mhm.
says, oh, they have like actually pretty, like, you see Miranda's tits. They're pretty nice. This is the first boob shot we've had of Miranda. I think it is. He's like behind
I
her and he
thought
like has
she
his
had
hand on her boob.
another one like this. Isn't she
Oh,
riding someone?
I feel like is
Maybe
she
I'm
riding
conflating and just
throat?
like that.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm thinking of the same one, but this one's pretty. It's kind of hot. They come,
Yeah,
and
he's
then
like behind her. He's like holding her, and her boobs are like being kind of held, and
yeah,
then they're having this. They're like, she's like, "Oh, Steve," and she's like, "I won for the cons list." Ugh.
and then he's like, "Look, Miranda. I mean, I know that you don't want to be tied down and all that, but I just love you." And then she kisses him, and then I guess love
But well,
that
no,
solves
his
everything.
the thing that was I think they're trying to say is he says something like, "You're the best woman I've ever met. I've never met someone a better woman than you."
That's
Yeah, blah blah
nice.
blah. And I think that is what it was that Miranda's. I think what they're ultimately saying is the biggest pro of all is how much that he loves you too, or like loves you
Yeah,
back,
I can see that.
or
That's
wants
nice.
you, which I think is easy to in situations. It is easy to like not think about that as a factor in the situation of like, oh yeah, this person treats you well. They like, you know what I mean? I think
And
sometimes people look at things a little more superficially. Like that's where Miranda's looking at it, is in a lot of like superficial ways, where at the core of it, it is about, does this person want to be with you? Does this person like you for you? And Steve does like Miranda for her. And that's why I'm saying season 3, and just like that, get them back together. I'm done.
no, Steve deserves better than her. And she's like such a bumbling idiot
Who
now.
are they gonna put Steve with then?
He should date like a fucking 31-year-old,
I
like a
want
hottie.
Steve to be bi.
No, I don't want that.
I do.
Okay, well, sorry, I'm not actually.
Yep.
Not on my phone. I'm going to the script. By the
Amanda's like over it.
way.
Like,
Just pick up my phone. I'm starting like the TikTok. You're hearing TikTok songs.
she's like, guys, bye. Okay, so they
No,
fuck.
I'm
Then,
pulling
oh
up the
yeah.
script here. Like, yeah, like
Well,
it's actually it's a good way to
Miranda
have notes.
Miranda really finds out that is what she like. She's like, that is and that was the biggest pro of all, or whatever. That
Right.
was the
No,
most
look, I do
important.
get that it's like, oh, this person actually likes me. So that's a pro. Or
And
it's
when
like
you
there's something wrong with you.
I think I'm looking at this from my perspective of like,
Yeah.
I never think about that as a thing. I'm never like, oh wait, this person actually likes me?
I'm
And
usually
maybe
pretty
I should
surprised
start
when I
thinking
find out
about
someone
that.
likes me. Like even like regular friends too, where I'm like, huh, like it doesn't make any sense why you like me, but fine, I'll go along on this ride. Well,
Well, I
it's
mean,
a
most
great.
people are just lying to you. What? What was that?
Well, where are we? Now I'm like now I'm checking my
It's
email.
Where Amanda's texting. I don't know. Amanda's like typing
Samantha goes out
messages.
again with
She's
Jeff,
on AIM.
and they have now fucked, and she goes out on another date with him, and he like gets up and goes to the bathroom to take a shit, and his jacket is still on the chair, and it says like Junior's
Yeah, like
department.
Ralph Lauren kids or some shit like that.
I mean, that is pretty.
She's like,
That would
I
not
could
be cute.
handle him. Samantha could handle a man who was short in bed, but not shopped in the little boys section or something like that, right?
Yeah. But so then she gets up to leave and he's like, Samantha, what the fuck? And she's like, no, it's just something came up. And he's like, what? What the fuck could have possibly come up in like the past few seconds? She's like, you shop at the little boys' department. And he's like, so what? The clothes fit me better. Plus, they're cheaper. Where do you shop? The big and tall horse store? And she goes, you're nothing. This is good, actually. You're nothing but a big dick with a little man attached. And he goes, you're nothing but a big pair of tits with too much extra leg room. And then Samantha's like, she puts her arm around him and gives him a little like nuggie, and they go out and they date like 2 weeks. It said also this never gets summed up because it says they dated for 2
Did
weeks.
it say they dated too? Oh,
It says
it said
she
that.
found a man who'd made her laugh. Oh, and then as they're walking out, he goes, "Somebody got me a booster chair." And she's like,
Oh
Carrie says,
Lord.
surprisingly, Samantha found out what she was really looking for. It had nothing to do with size. She found a man who made her laugh. They dated for 2 weeks. Though he was short, it was a long relationship for Samantha. So then what happened then? Then why did they break up after 2 weeks? What happened? What could it?
Don't know. Don't care.
She just couldn't get past it.
He was a hedge fund manager, though. That means you're kind of a bad person, I think.
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
think so.
Well, anyway, we're at Carrie here, and they're the same night, parched and nervous. I spent another night with Bill, so they have sex, and they're like, "Yay, that was great!" And he's like, "All right, well, let's take a shower." And so she goes in there, and I mean,
but like, I would think after you've like finished,
yeah,
you're
now
not
you're
like,
in the safe zone.
"Ooh, yeah, let's start pissing again." Like he's already come. What I'm trying to get at is they fucked, right?
Well, no, I
They've
agree.
both
If I were
come, and
Carrie,
now
I'd
you're
be
gonna
like,
start
"I'm
the
safe
pissing.
now." We don't, yeah, but like, so this could just come up at any time then. So he's in there, and she's like, Bill, and he's like, he's not, you can't see him, but she's like, I just don't really feel comfortable. If you want, like, maybe I could like pour warm water on you, or I could even like leave the door open a couple times.
Dribble warm tea on you, and that would
Yeah.
feel good. I'm like,
She's like, and or
girl.
sometimes I could even leave the door open while I'm using the bathroom. Although to be honest, I don't really feel very comfortable with that either. And then he's like, uh-huh. Then he's like, actually, I've been talking to my campaign manager, and you having a sex column just isn't good for my campaign. And she's like, wait, I write a sex column, but you like people to pee on you. And he's like, yeah, but no one knows about that. So then she's kind of humiliated. This is
Yeah.
my take on it. She's kind of humiliated him here. And he's like, he kind of throws it back at her, like, well, who the fuck do you think you are? You literally write a sex column. And then she gets back at him by now posting about him in her column where she's like, I didn't say his name, but it's like, but everyone knew you were dating him. So now you outed him to everyone after already humiliating him. You're on Carrie's side.
What? You think she humiliated him?
Yeah, she never said no to the peeing. So he's like, he's thinking it's gonna happen, and then she comes in and she's kind of a bitch about it. It's like kind of humiliating. What is your take on this?
I think that if you are asking someone to do a fetish that not everyone's going to be into, you are in a place where you have accepted that someone's going to maybe not like be totally down for it. And it takes, obviously, if you guys didn't do it then, see, he's not a dum-dum. The first night you brought it up, if you guys didn't do it within 48 hours, I would wonder what's going on.
I guess.
I wouldn't be like, oh, she still wants it. She's waiting for it. She's building it up in there. Like,
I guess
no, she's waiting for a special moment to piss on me.
I guess I think it's shitty that she outed him because, like, he didn't really do anything that wrong here.
I totally agree on that, but it was a weird thing because there is that part where he's like, he gets to now have anonymity of his perversions behind this guise of I'm this great guy, whatever. But at the same time, getting someone to piss on you is not like, doesn't make you a bad person.
No, not at all. It's not crazy at all. It's like not even like it's not.
Well, though politics were very different in 2000 than they are now. In fact, I think it's a requirement that you like when people piss on
sure.
Stuff, right?
Oh, yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Didn't that happen somewhere in some
hotel
a lot in Russia? They had some women pee on a bed, and
yeah, I think you're
like a president. Anyway.
Well, anyway, that's another story for another time.
Guys, be a felon, and you can get into politics. The only way to get into politics nowadays is to be a big piece of shit. We love you guys so much.
Yeah, join us on Wednesdays now at noon. Wednesdays at noon. Amazing time. I was in a great mood afterward. We all had fun.
We had fun.
Yeah, and we're almost at 1,000 subscribers. We only need like 30 more. So get out there.
Could you guys could you guys possibly share our video?
Do that.
Like it,
Comment, like
hit
it.
subscribe, put a comment. If you made it this far, say I made it to 5423, baby. And I'm still
Oh,
here.
yeah.
I'm still here. You know what, you guys? We're happy to have you. And make sure you check out our Patreon because that's where we get real deep. Like I said, if you want to hear a somewhat similar story to this, the general idea of this episode, check out our Patreon because
Again, we
one
don't know
of
what
us may
episode, but
have.
any episode you click on, maybe a Pillow Talk episode. The Pillow Talk
I think it
specific
might have
episodes
been.
are pretty like deep. Anyway, guys, we love you,
Raunchy.
and I'm gonna go eat some buffalo chicken dip.
Yes, we love you. Check out all of our shit and bye bye.
Bye.